Yeah, I just love Kinta already. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 11 of Dan to Dan Season 2. And that means that next week is the finale, and it's weird to think about, you know? Because it's like we're already at the finale. We're already like closing this season out. It feels weird, but it's like at the same time, it's like, yeah, like half of this season was the evil eye stuff. It was such a long arc, or technically two arcs, but let's be honest, it was basically one. It was all basically the same thing. Um, it was just like, my God, focus on something else. But we only get a few episodes at the end of this season. It's not even half of this season. Most of this season was just the evil eye stuff. So it's like I think that's what also led to this season feeling like we haven't gotten as much, you know. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that this season has been like bad in any way, but it definitely doesn't feel like there's as much content as season one. And it's because of like season one had like what, 3 or 4 different arcs in it. So this one only having like 2, or if you want to be technical, 3, but realistically only 2. It's like, that's insane. That's like such a big difference. It's like it makes a bigger difference than you think. I just I feel like it's much more like it feels like much more focused, which almost doesn't work for Dan to Dan as much. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. This season by no means was bad, and had some phenomenal moments in it. But it just it feels like season one had it set up in a certain way, and this just kind of went against that. In terms of its pacing, in terms of the way it handles things. I don't know. It just feels like certain elements were dragged out a bit. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, it doesn't feel quite as erratic and like diverse, for lack of a better way to put it. I hope you know what I'm talking about. I'm bad at wording things. But either way, last episode we met Kinta. And something interesting to me is I've seen some people saying on like TikTok and stuff, it's like, oh, this guy is this, he's into mechs and stuff, but don't say his name. We haven't learned his name yet. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said his name. He literally said his name. And it's like, did they not say his name in the dub? Did he say something? Did they like localize it weirdly so that he said something else? Because there's a point in the episode where he literally is like speaking to himself and says his own name. He says like something along the lines of like, pull it together, Kinta, or something like that, or you got this, Kinta, something like that. Does he not say that in the dub? Because that's wild, because it's like, why would they change that? His lips weren't even moving, so they wouldn't have to or change anything for lip sync. It's like he was just thinking it at the moment. They could have very easily kept that in. So it's like, that's the only thing I can think of, because if you're watching the sub, he absolutely said his name. So it's like wild that people are like acting like he didn't. But I don't know. Either way, so we met Kinta, And Kinta is very much like Okarun. He's very nerdy, very, very geeky. And just like Okarun, he's not very popular. But we see that while going around and just experiencing day-to-day life, he starts noticing Okarun becoming more popular with Momo specifically. But we also find out that he does know about Ira and everything as well, and we see the class president get involved in the episode. So he confronts Okarun about this because he's both jealous and also clearly wants friends himself. It's a little kind of mix of both. I saw people like acting like it's just one or the other, and it's like no, it's both. He's definitely jealous. He definitely wants girls himself. He wants to be around girls himself for sure. Like you definitely see that multiple points in the last episode. But it's also very clear by the way he's like talking to Okarun and the way he's like trying to like get his attention. It's very clear he wants to be Okarun's friend as well. Because he's probably pretty lonely. He's a loner. He doesn't have anything. I can speak to this because I've been there. I am this kind of person. Growing up in school, I didn't have a lot of friends because I was super nerdy. There were a couple friends I had who were nerdier, but to where it's like Okarun, where it's like, oh, I have a couple friends I can connect to. But it's not like I have a lot of people in school who are like that. It's just a couple friends here and there. But otherwise I would be like, very quiet, very shy. I'll sing like anime songs and stuff when I'm on my own, but if I'm in public, I get very quiet and very timid around them, like Kinta does. We see that in last episode. He's singing the anime insert song from Mobile Suit Gundam, which I would not have recognized during the reaction, so it's like, I've never been a Gundam fan. But he's singing that, and then when he starts getting around other people, he quiets down very shyly, and it's like, it was the part that really just instantly endeared me to him. Because it's like, I have been there. I have literally done that exact thing. And it's just like, God, I feel seen. But then also, like, you see throughout the episode, like, he's trying to connect with them. And he hears them, like, constantly talking about the family jewels because they found the other testicle and everything. And Kinta, bless his heart, does not understand what they're talking about because he wouldn't. He wouldn't. There's no reason he would understand. So he thinks that they're just, making dirty jokes. He thinks that that's part of their friendship and that's why they've connected. And so he tries to do it too, and bless his heart, he's bad at it. He's trying to befriend them. He's doing this specifically to try to befriend them with the 10-gallon wiener line and everything. But he has no social skills at all. Like, honestly, less than me. And I have very little social skills. I am really bad with that. So, he's trying to befriend them, to make those connections, but he ends up, like, they look down on him and yell at him for speaking like that. It's not his fault. It's literally what he thinks is, like, connecting you guys, because you're talking about this kind of shit in front of him without him having any context. What else is he supposed to think? And again, he's got no social skills and is not handling it properly. But still, it's like, why are you yelling at him for this? Just explain to him that it's an inside thing. That it's just something between them and they don't want other people doing it. That, I feel like that would resolve it. He would probably understand at that point. He's still socially awkward and still would be very awkward around them and make things awkward, but it would be a lot better at that point, would it not? I just feel like it's kind of their fault. And I mean, they're all kids. They're all dumbasses. So it's like, I don't entirely blame any of them that much. I'm not, like, hating on Momo and Okarun either. Because I absolutely adore them. They're so so amazing as characters. But it's just like Kinta is just so lost, and no one's telling him anything. And then after they're like, trying to hunt down the golden ball at the abandoned apartments and everything, Kinta ends up being there too because he followed them. And this invisible force is like levitating the ball, and Kinta correctly predicts how it's invisible because of his, mecha stuff and everything, his anime knowledge. And it's like, they don't give him the credit he deserves. He figured that out. It was something super important to figure out. It literally helped them be able to take this thing down initially and reveal its true form. It's like, give Kinta his flowers here. Like, dude is just trying to befriend people. He's super awkward, and he does want like love as well. But it's like he's genuinely trying, and on top of that, he seems like a nice boy. Like he's not like mean or rude or like crazy or anything. Honestly, he's less crazy than Momo. He seems like such a nice, like, kind dude who's just super fucking awkward. I can't hate on him for that. I'm a nice, kind person who's super fucking awkward. At least I try to be nice and kind. Sometimes I fail at that, but, I feel like that's just being human. But it's like, I'm just super aggressively awkward in real life. It may not be super apparent when I'm like, talking on camera like this. But like if you've ever met me in real life, you would know like I am very fucking awkward. I am like so quiet and shy and timid. And it's like I'll say things that I don't mean in a certain way, but it comes out like that because I don't know how to word it properly. It's so I connect so much with him, and I can't hate him because of that. Even if I'm slightly better than him in terms of like, awkwardness. It's like I can't hate on him. And I've seen like on TikTok and stuff, other people kind of mirroring this sentiment. Like there are people out there who are like saying like, oh, I dislike this character, I dislike that character, I find them annoying. But like Kinta, no, it's like I don't see anything wrong with him. I don't find him annoying. I don't find him that weird. It's like he's just, very awkward. Other people have been mirroring this, and I'm glad I'm not the only one. But the invisible force that had the gold ball ends up being a kaiju. And while it's like more human sized at first, after they initially defeat it, it grows to regular kaiju size. And I don't know if that's like an implication of the smaller or bigger size being the normal size. Because it could kind of go either way. It's like, oh, this thing was like, it was kind of like partially disguising itself, but also just kind of like keeping out of attention by being smaller, and it reverted to its normal size when beaten. Or it could be that it is normally smaller, and it grew in order to intimidate them. Either way, we have to fight a kaiju. And I don't know if Okarune is strong enough for that yet. Like, he got a lot stronger. He was able to, take on Evil Eye. But a kaiju is a different story. Because with that size is going to come a lot of toughness, a lot of strength. And who knows what kind of, like, firepower this thing has. So it's like, this is going to be a lot tougher than I think anyone's really expecting here. If you know anything about kaiju movies like Godzilla or whatnot, then yeah, you understand that this is going to be a lot tougher than you would think. Kaiju are exceptionally tough-skinned. So it's like, you're not going to be able to do a lot of damage. That's the big thing. When it's small like that, it's like it's gonna be more equaled out. But when it's full size, it's like that's gonna change things. But we have our trio here of Momo, Okarun, and Kinta. My only thing is like I is if Kinta figures out something, which I assume he's gonna probably do, just because of the fact that, you know, he figured out the invisibility in the first place, so it would make sense that he also figures out how to take this thing down. I assume that's where this is going with this, and that he's going to end up bonding with the kaiju in the way that, like, you know, everyone else has had their bonds with these different spirits and stuff. I assume the kaiju's going to be his. But I'm very interested to see how this all works out and what kind of cliffhanger we're going to leave off on in this episode specifically. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this episode or the next episode, but I'm very excited to see how this closes out, and I'm just excited to see more Kinta. So let's get into it and find out what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, as the sci-fi mecha fan, we have Kinta creating the robot, the giant robot. Although Momo kind of ends up turning it into a Buddha as well, so it's a bit of both. But yeah, the point is, we have our basically Gundam versus kaiju battle set up for next episode. Kinta's going to be able to know how to control this. He's going to be able to guide everyone else. And it's clear, like, it's, yeah, 2 of them are controlling the legs, 2 of them are controlling the arms. We're going to have to figure out a way to make Evil Eye cooperate. Again, I feel like Okarun just has to promise him, like, an extra battle. Like, that'll work, I'm sure. But this entire episode, it's one of those episodes of the series where it's just the action, just the, you know, focus on the enemy and stuff. And after having so many episodes of more slice of lifey stuff, more like, you know, kind of the fallout with Evil Eye and having him, you know, integrate into the school and stuff, having Kinta be introduced and stuff, we're finally back in the action of everything. And we get, like, a big, heavy amount of it right off the bat. So I really, really enjoy that. The battle against the kaiju, Ira, Momo, Okarun, they're just not able to do much of anything. The kaiju's too tough, and then also with the invisibility, the electric attacks, it's just, they're not able to handle that. That's too much for them, and it makes sense. They're not trained to fight something like this. Gigi, meanwhile, takes Kinta and runs, and they all eventually have to meet up back at at Momo's place. Seiko's away for now. Who knows where Turbo Granny is? So it's like at this point they just have to figure something out, and Okarun comes up with the idea of using the nano skin, the nano machines from the house, after they rebuilt it thanks to Mr. Manishrimp and all, and his friend, who's just, you know, angry. They were able to use this with Kinta's imagination and love of mechs to be able to create this mech. And again, also Buddha because of Momo. But this is just, like, a really cool idea. And mechs and kaiju have fought plenty of times. And, like, You have like Ultraman and stuff involved with that kind of stuff. So this is very much just a classic combination. Um, Even the movie Pacific Rim did this, and I mean I've never seen that, but I know that's the concept of it. You have the giant robots controlled by the humans to fight the kaiju, and so that's pretty fun in and of itself. Like you could compare this even to Pacific Rim in terms of American films and whatnot. But yeah, this is just cool. like like this is just a cool concept. Kaiju's had to be brought into this. Again, we had the Loch Ness Monster, which was very kaiju-like. Very much inspired by Shin Godzilla specifically. But this is like a classic kaiju. And then having the giant robots be brought in too because of Kinta. And it's just like, yeah, this is just cool. It's like there's no other way to put it. Getting to see Ira going all out is pretty great because we've seen her like fight, and I think the biggest showcase of that has been like the battle against the musician ghosts, the composers with Okarun. But this is the first time we really see her going all out since gaining these powers. Like this is. If the composer battle was her first real battle as Acro Ira, this is her like first time like going full stop, full power. That's how I'd view it. From what we can see, at least. And like Kinta's just like really shocked and confused, but he has enough spiritual awareness that he's able to go into this other dimension in the first place. He's able to see the transformation of Evil Eye. He's just, he's awkward and scared about it because it's like, it's scary. It's a fucking terrifying situation. The only reason Okarun, Momo, and Ira are able to, deal with it to any degree are because they've faced this kind of stuff before. Kinta hasn't. This is brand new for him. So, yeah, it makes sense that he'd be terrified. And his little moment with Gigi, it's like misunderstanding what Gigi was trying to say there and like thinking Gigi's just like being mean to him and everything. It's like, so then he like flexes sweat on him. It's like, he's a little petty. He's a little petty. But given the situation, given his like obviously intense fear and clear inability to think straight in those kind of moments, like I know when I'm like scared, like I'm not going to be thinking properly. I can't fully blame him for that, and in the end, it didn't really hurt anything. Like Evil Eye's sticking to the deal still. But again, we're clearly going to have to promise him something for him to cooperate during this battle, so for him to help out with the mech. And again, I feel like Okarun just has to promise him an extra fight. I really feel like that's all that would be needed. Because that's all that Evil Eye actually wants right now. He just wants to fight Okarun. So it's like, you help us with this, I'll give you one extra fight this week. I absolutely believe that'll work. But I like seeing that we have confirmation now that if you get far enough away from the subject that is kind of either creating or like causing the pocket dimension, you will actually leave the pocket dimension itself. You'll actually get far enough away to where it's like you'll just not be affected by that technology anymore. That's really fascinating because we didn't get to see that last time. Season 1's episodes that focused on, the pocket dimension thing with, again, the Loch Ness Monster, Mr. Manishrimp, all of that. Like, they never were able to get that far away. But we see that first with Kinta and Gigi, or, Evil Eye, because they arrive at Momo's place first, and you see that they're no longer in the other dimension. But then you see it when the others come as well. It's like they're just able to escape it. So that means that it is specifically centering around a subject, right? I assume in the first season when we first saw this with what was it called? The Flatwoods Monster? I believe that's what it was. When we first saw it with that, it was centered around the Flatwoods Monster, and it was a big enough field that it could surround the all of Seiko's home. The second time we saw it was again with the entire Mr. Mana Shrimp and Loch Ness Monster and the Serpoians. And that was like kind of surrounding the whole school, and they never left the school, so I assume the field was centering around the last of the Serpoians, or just all of the Serpoians at once. So when the last one was taken out, that's how they broke out of it, right? I believe so. I haven't watched that episode a lot because episode 9 of season 1 was my least favorite episode of the series so far, and that includes with everything in season 2. So it's like, yeah, I have not watched that one as much as others. But I feel like it's just one of those cases where this time the field is centering around the kaiju itself. So again, we see that if you get far enough away, you can actually escape the field. The field protects like the buildings and the people so that no one like on Earth will know what's happening or be affected, and no buildings will be destroyed. It basically, again, it creates like this kind of pocket dimension situation that copies everything, and everything that happens within it remains safe for the outer world. It's a really fascinating concept, really. And so this is going to be like really exciting because this kaiju versus mech fights is going to be able to go all out, and that's going to be fun. So yeah, we're going to have the kaiju mech fight, and I assume there's going to be a little bit of aftermath to just close out the season. I hope we don't end off on another cliffhanger like season 1 did. I assume we're going to end this arc with this next episode, but I really hope we don't like leave off on a cliffhanger again, because I really wasn't a fan of that with season 1. It's like you're ending at the beginning of an arc still. And it's like very clearly that ended up being like a really weird choice. So I don't know. But yeah, this episode was just really great. It was really cool, really fun. Loved seeing everybody's reactions to everything, how everybody handled everything. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the shit out of this. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Dan to Dan Season 2? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.